You're listening to Thursday Night Tailgate with Chris Mascaro and Bob Lazari, where NFL legends live on. Back to you, boys.
It's him. He's alive.
All right, now back in making his third appearance with us on Thursday Night Tailgate is former Cowboys running back Sherman Williams. Let me remind you about Sherman's background. He is from Mobile, Alabama. He attended Mattie T. Blunt High School, where as a senior, he became the first running back in high school history to rush for over 3,000 yards in a single season. He was named All-State and led his team to the 5A state title. He played his college ball at the University of Alabama, where he was a member of their 1992 national championship team. He became a starter in his junior year, and over the next two seasons, he rushed for just under 2,100 yards, including 1,341 as a senior, which was second best all-time when he left the school and remains 11th best all-time today. He was drafted in the second round by the Dallas Cowboys in 1995 and played in the league from 95 to 99, all in Dallas. He was a member of their Super Bowl 30 championship team. He wrote an autobiography called Crimson Cowboy, The Rise and Fall of a Three-Time Champion, which is highly rated on Amazon.com. He's got a new book out titled Peace Between the Lines, which we'll talk about here in a moment, and we're glad to have him back with us tonight on Thursday Night Tailgate. Hey, Sherman, Chris, and Bob, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris. Hey, Bob. How you doing? It's always a pleasure, man, to speak to you guys. And when you was reading off those stats, I started to wonder who you were talking about. Those were some incredible stats. I didn't even realize some of that stuff myself. But I'm glad to be back on the show, man. It's a great thing, great opportunity. And just talk to the people, talk football. Football season is a very important time of the year, so I'm back.
Yes, you are. We're glad to have you. So, Sherman, it's been a little while since we've had you on the show. Catch us up. How have things been going for you this year?
Man, everything been going well, man. We working with the kids, youth development programs. We got the Palmer Williams group, myself and David Palmer, doing a lot of speaking engagements, going all over the place, and just getting the word out there, getting the message out, using my life story as a testimony, like you said earlier. Having the second book about to come out, the Peace Between the Lines, the Crimson Cowboy. So things have been going good, man. God been blessing our program. We just happy that things are going in our favor.
And Sherman, as you mentioned, the book is coming out soon, Peace Between the Lines. What can our listeners look forward to reading in that book?
Man, Peace Between the Lines is going to talk about the trilogy of the Crimson Cowboys, the second volume of the three-part series, and it's going to talk about the trial. It's going to cover a lot of things, the facts and details about, going through federal prison and getting out and working with kids and doing all types of things like that. But it's going to talk more about the actual facts of what happened, courtroom drama, testimony, that type of thing, everything that you would see like on a TV show like Law and Order, the trial transcripts, the actual facts of the case and facts of the matter. Just give public a chance to have an opinion on what was taking place, and also it's going to be a learning experience, a teaching tool for children or youth that will be participating in our program. It's something they can reflect on, something they can look to see the decision-making process and what happened, and give them an opportunity to avoid some of the life pitfalls that myself and Mr. Palmer went through. But, all in all, the second volume is going to talk about the message of Jesus Christ, how God come into your life and change things. And, it's going to be an obvious scene to where God is going to have an opportunity to work out a miracle. It's going to be a true fact.
And Sherman, for our listeners who aren't familiar with your story, weren't with us last time, and as they listen to you talk about some of your teas for what the first book and the second book are about, just give them a quick highlight so they understand what you did go through.
The quick in a nutshell. Coming up in the background, Pritchard, Alabama, small urban community in the state of Alabama in Mobile County, having social disadvantages, growing up as a single-parent home, being a kid in a community that's full of crime, and, getting involved in gang activity at a young age, being expelled from school, going through the ups and downs, but also having a straight love for the sport of football to the point to where I had a passion to work hard, put dedication, determination to get to the points where I wanted to be, as far as making it to the NFL. But it talks about, the life's challenges and trying to be successful, but then having failures and overcoming that, and then getting involved with the wrong crowd, making poor decisions, being part of a gang, getting expelled from school, then getting back into school, working hard, working your way to earn a full-ride scholarship to play football at a major university like the University of Alabama. But in the midst of all winning a championship on every level, being a part of some great teams, won a state championship in high school, also a national championship with the University of Alabama, being recruited and drafted as first pick for the Cowboys in the 95 NFL draft, going on to win a Super Bowl as a rookie, and then still having those associations and ending up in federal prison, serving a 15-year federal prison sentence for trafficking marijuana across 5 different states. So it talks about the tale of 2 tapes, you know, the good side of being rewarded for the decision-making and hard work and sacrifice, but also having consequences and serving jail time for making poor decisions, being in the wrong crowd, and doing the wrong thing. So the Crimson Cowboy itself, the book is a great book. People are inspired by it, and they really like it. And the first book was out over a year, and people were always pushing. When's the second one? When's the second one coming? So I finally got the second one completed. Now it's time for it to be released. We're going to release the book on November the 11th in Atlanta, Georgia, during the Cowboys and Falcons game, where people will have the opportunity to also get Volume 1. If you haven't got Volume 1 already, then you'll have Volume 2 will be right there for sale, purchase on our website, crimsoncowboy.com or palmerwilliamsgroup.org.
So where are you going to be on November 11th? You know, I'm here in Atlanta, so and so are many of our listeners. Talk about where you're going to be, so folks can come out and get a copy of the book and maybe get an opportunity to shake your hand.
Now, I would love for people to come out. I'll be on Windy Hill Road right there at Empire Sports Bar and Grill doing a meet and greet on Friday, November the 10th, and doing a day party also on that Saturday, November the 11th. All going to be at Empire Sports Bar and Grill. Going to have the book there for sale, for purchase for people that want to get signed autographed copies of the book. It'll be available. And Atlanta is always a city that shows a lot of love. I did some book tours and that type of thing on Volume 1 in Atlanta, and I always got great support. So I hope everyone in the city of Atlanta is able to come out. The Atlanta Falcons and the Dallas Cowboys will be playing that Sunday, so I'll be doing some stuff with the NFL that Sunday, and we have a block party going on at the stadium. It's going to be a great affair, great event. And I just hope all the listeners who are on this radio broadcast today could come out and be a part of the festivities.
Bob, questions for Sherman?
Yeah, Sherman, it's great to speak with you again. I want to thank you for all the great work you do with young people. It's very close to Chris and my heart as far as getting through to these kids, and you do it as well as anybody. But I want to get, first of all, I'll get back to that in a minute. I just wanted to talk about, Chris talked about your high school exploits, incredible days in high school, and a kid from Mobile to go to Alabama. You think it would be a natural thing, Sherman. Was there any other opportunities, or was it always Bama for you?
Well, I always talk about it like I talk about it in the Crimson Cowboy Volume 1. I talk about my childhood being an LSU fan. I was an LSU fan most of my childhood, and but the University of Alabama right in my backyard was always interested in the University of Alabama, but my favorite team, because of the colors, was so similar to my high school team, I became an LSU fan, and being here on the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, it's relatively a shorter, closer distance to Baton Rouge and Tuscaloosa. So we had a lot of marketing going on with LSU and the New Orleans Saints and that type of thing in our area. But all the major universities all over the country, you know, you have talking about a kid 17 years old coming out of high school rushing for 3,000 yards in a single season. You can imagine that every school in the country would be knocking on that door. But I wanted to stay in the SEC. You know, my final decision was going to come down to the SEC. I told all my high school coaches that I felt like the SEC was the toughest conference to play in. I felt like if I wanted to be the best, I had to play with the best and against the best. So I knew I wasn't going to go outside of the SEC, but I narrowed it down to 3 schools coming out of high school, go to either Auburn, Alabama, or LSU. And after my recruiting trip to the University of Alabama, I was just so blown away with the tradition and the teamwork and the chemistry of the players, I just felt like it was a natural fit for me coming from winning a state championship and having the opportunity to win a national title.
And being drafted by the Dallas Cowboys, Sherman, it must have been an incredible feeling when you heard your name go, this is the Dallas Cowboys actually, calling my name. And when you got to training camp that year, do you think there's a certain amount of extra pressure that goes on with any player who plays for, quote-unquote, America's team, or do you think it's just the same for any NFL team?
Well, the Dallas Cowboys, like you say, you mentioned it's the America's team. And, playing with guys like Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin, Charles Haley, Nate Newton, a list goes on and on. You're talking about Hall of Fame players, and having the opportunity to play with those guys was an amazing feeling. But growing up being a Cowboy fan all my life, my mother was a Cowboy fan. Tom Landry was her favorite NFL personality of all time. So those Sunday evenings as a child, watching Tony Dorsett run up and down the field and becoming a Cowboy fan at a young age, it was a great experience, a dream come true. Like I talked about, I also mentioned that story in the sequence in the Crimson Cowboy Volume 1 about being a Cowboy fan and growing up and, having a dream come true, telling my mother a story at 10 years old about I was promising and guaranteeing her that she'll be in the stadium and having a chance to witness the Dallas Cowboys play live because I'll be playing for them. It was just a dream and turned into reality. Most kids all over the country dream of playing in the NFL, NBA, being movie stars, or whatever they choose to be in the career field. But to have it actually come true, it's a once-in-a-million type of affair.
And Sherman, I want to take you back to your time, playing for Alabama, and you were there, like I said, in '92 when you guys ran the table and you ended up blowing out number 1 Miami in the Sugar Bowl to win the national championship. Miami came into that game with a 29-game winning streak. You guys had won 22 in a row, but no one really gave you guys a chance to win that game. What do you remember about that game, and how satisfying was it to shut up Miami?
Well, you come in as a number 2 team, and you're the underdog, but you got the number 1 defense in the country, and you got a lot of hype and people talking about us not having a chance, but we played just as many games as anybody, and we was undefeated at the time. We had been in some tough battles. Like I said, playing in the SEC, the toughest conference you could play in, and we knew that we had an opportunity. We didn't know that we would take advantage of every opportunity and destroy that team the way we did, having a 34-13 victory. But we knew that we had a chance inside of our locker room. We felt like that we could play with anybody. We had just as much speed. We had just as much talent. And we knew that defense wins championships. And if our defense gave our offense opportunity, we would try to capitalize on those opportunities. And we went out there and played a game, and we stole the crowd early. Went out. I was fortunate enough to score the first touchdown in that game, so the crowd went wild, got a chance to do the Sherman Shake, which became a household name. And it was just a good experience, good feel for the state, good feel for the team. The coaching staff, Coach Stallings did a great job, put a great game plan together. And I just think that our team speed is what shocked them. We have some guys on our team that could run subpar 4.4, 4.3s, and could match them speed for speed on defense with people like George Teague and Antonio Langham. Then we had the bookends with Copeland and Curry, a solid defense all the way across the board. Me and Derek Laxett running the ball in the backfield, a good game managing quarterback with Jay Barker. I mean, we had all the ingredients to go out there and win. And then on special teams, we had David Palmer running the ball back on kickoff. So we just went out there and played Alabama football, gave the country what they were looking for, and came out with a victory.
And Sherman, I read that they taunted you guys, saying that they were too good to lose to a one-dimensional team like Alabama. They laughed at you guys during warm-ups. Did you see or hear anything like that?
Oh, yeah. We came to almost a fisticuff a few times down on Bourbon Street. We was in the Big Easy down on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. So, walking those streets, we see each other on time to time. We almost got into different scuffles with the boardroom, the chalkboard talk. So it was a heightened event, and a lot of testosterone passed around, and they was talking a lot of trash, and we just felt like we just had to go out there and show them what we could do on the field. We wanted to have class, we wanted to have discipline, and be the university, but we wanted to show them what we could do. We saved everything for the field. They did a lot of talking off the field, but we wanted to do it on the field, and it was a good thing because this year we celebrated our 25th anniversary of our 92 championship, and all the players got a chance to come back. We walked on the field, and Coach Stallings was there. He then had some complications, some illnesses, and had a couple strokes, a heart attack, but he was there, and Dabo Sweeney was there, the coach of Clemson University, so we got a chance to see those guys. Clemson got a good team going on down there. I think 8 coaches on our 92 championship team, so we feel an extension of love right there, and it was just a good experience. And 25 years has passed so fast.
Again, the books are titled Crimson Cowboy and Peace Between the Lines. Crimson Cowboy available on Amazon.com. Sherman has got his website, crimsoncowboy.com. You can get a copy of the books there as well. Sherman, let our listeners know, again, where you're going to be and how they're going to be able to get copies of your books, whether they're signed or not, but how can they get a copy and find you online and on social media?
Well, you can follow us on Twitter at Crimson Cowboy 20, on Instagram at Crimson Cowboy. Everything is Crimson Cowboy. It's very simple. It's Crimson like the Alabama Crimson Tide, and it's Cowboys like the Dallas Cowboys, and it's .com. And you can visit us on our website at PalmerWilliamsGroup.org. That's myself and David Palmer with the nonprofit organization working with socially disadvantaged youth. But for November the 11th, November the 10th, and 11th, I will be at Empire Sports Bar and Grill on Windy Hill Road in Atlanta, Georgia, close to Marietta, Georgia. And they can come by there, stop by, take pictures, get autographs, get copies of the book, and also just have a good conversation.
There you go. Sherman, thank you so much for coming back on the show tonight. It was great catching up with you. We hope you'll come back again and soon and share more of your stories and your insights with us. It's always fantastic having you as part of the show.
It's always a pleasure, Chris and Bob. I sure appreciate you coming and getting me on the show and having the chance, the opportunity to let people know what we have going on. And I love this show. I listen to this show on a regular, frequent basis, and it's a great show. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate that very much, Sherman. Thank you. All the best to you and your family. We look forward to catching up with you again soon, Sherman.
Take it easy now.
Okay. Thanks. Be blessed.
Good night.
That is Sherman Williams again. Crimson Cowboy is the name of the first book, and Between the White Lines is or Peace Between the Lines is the name of the second book, which we look forward to having, hopefully getting a copy of that real soon, and then catching up with Sherman down the road. But Bob, you want to talk about a guy who had a lot of talent and certainly did a lot of great things at the University of Alabama, and 3,000 yards rushing in a single season at high school. What an amazing feat that is, and certainly he's been doing, like you said, a lot of great things with young kids now, kind of talking about the struggles that he had, and then giving them advice and hoping to help them not make the same mistakes that he did.
Yeah, and it's sad in a way, Chris. He's done with the NFL by the age of 26, but then again, turning his life around, a la your Tim Worleys and Tony Collins, it's great. Right. It can happen, and the work he does now, he'll be the first to admit it. It trumps anything that he's ever done on a football field.
Indeed. And speaking of Tony Collins, we got him hanging on the line. We'll get into our 5-star picks of the week on the other side of this quick station break.